Steven, this, to be able to sit with you, interviewing you, is such a privilege.
Thank you.
It's lovely having you.
It's an honor to be here.
Yeah,
actually.
It's lovely having you in South Africa, all the way from USA.
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Wow.
My shop is in the middle of the city.
Wow.
And I decided, this is my third trip to South Africa.
Wow.
The first time I came with a yarn company and I met all the people, Adele and Carlet and everybody in the business. And last time I worked for Mohair South Africa. So it's a nonprofit that promotes mohair around the world.
Yes.
Because South Africa produces the most mohair of any place.
That's true.
And then this time I also worked with Cape Wools, who promotes merino wool.
Yes.
The best quality wool.
Yes, merino, and we are also, I think, the main producer of merino in the world.
Not the main producer, but the main producer sustainably sourced.
Oh, really?
That makes a difference.
Wow, that's amazing.
Because Australia produces a lot.
Yes, no, Australia does. That's.
But
correct.
it's your practices are safe, humane, animal treatment,
Really?
and sustainable practice.
Now you're coming from USA to tell me. So
yeah.
How horrible is that?
Because I study.
That's amazing. So you're here at the Cape Town Yarn Festival, and this is Stevenbe. He's known as Stevenbe.
Yes, because I always wanted to be a rock star. I always wanted to be a rock star, and I can't sing. No,
But you're the rock star of yarn.
Rock star of yarn.
With bling.
So Elton John of yarn.
I love it.
I knit for fashion because I like to see what's on the runway.
Yeah.
I knit for art because I like artistic knitting, very textural and colorful.
Yes.
And then I also knit for pop culture. I love to knit what celebrities are doing. So when Martha Stewart got out of jail, she was wearing a poncho.
Really?
Crocheted poncho.
No way.
So I'm like, okay, if she could go to jail and wear a crocheted poncho, I could make a poncho.
Yes.
So pop culture, and I knit 2 sweaters for Jennifer Aniston, pretty high profile celebrity.
Yes.
And Misha Barton, she's not as well known.
But she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I knit her a mini skirt. It was only this big.
Very little yarn.
I asked the director what size. He goes, size nothing.
Yeah,
size nothing.
Small.
And my friends are in the movie business, so I was able to do those things. But I've had my yarn shop for 20 years.
Yes, I saw that when I was reading up.
Oh, I just got an article in the PE Herald.
Really?
Yeah, I'm on the cover.
Oh, wow. Steven, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I say celebrity on the D list. The A list is like Brad Pitt.
Yes,
but,
you know.
On the D list.
Wouldn't it be nice to knit him like a beautiful, colorful jacket?
Well, and how about Harry Styles? He's the one I want to knit for.
Yes, you need to make your circle bigger there.
He's got such
friends.
flair and creative.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. That would be lovely.
If I was young, I'd work out so I had muscles like he does and tattoos and wear my mitts.
For sure. So, how long have you been in South Africa now for?
I came on the 4th of...
Oh, it's almost
a month soon.
Almost a month. And then you're leaving?
I'm leaving at the end of the week, so in 4 or 5 days, I'm going to stay in Cape Town for a few days.
Isn't it Cape Town so beautiful this
time?
And
a little bit of shopping, a little bit of beach, or I've got to go up the beach, close to the beach.
Yeah.
And then I fly to Paris, so I'm going to go shopping in Paris.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. Are you going to buy yarn there or looking more for fashion?
No, clothes, fashion.
All right.
I got enough yarn. I can't stop buying here from all the local vendors.
Really?
Oh yeah, I love everything. So each booth has something I like.
Yes,
so I'm going to make contracts for shipping to the U.S. So I can start I'm going to have a whole South Africa department in my store.
Oh, Steven, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. What are they saying when you approach them like that?
Well, I think they're very happy because they didn't expect it.
Yes.
And my best contact is Adele of Adele's Mohair.
Yes.
And I actually have been importing her things for 15 years. Wow. First under the label Be Sweet.
Okay.
And then now under the Adele's label.
Yeah.
And I just spent a week with her and we went to the Rhodes Fiber and Fabric Fair. Let's try to say that 3 times fast. I saw that on your Instagram. 3 times fast. Fabric and Fiber and Fair. And so that was way up in the mountains. 9-hour drive into the mountains. hours on
Really?
dirt roads.
9
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
That's hectic.
So that was tiring. But I have a new relationship with Adele now and she put me in her cottage at her house. And so my first order is coming from Adele's.
Oh,
But
wow.
I love mohair. And it's not that because I came here that I love mohair. It's because I love mohair first.
Yeah.
And then I found out the story where
About?
South Africa produces 60%
Yes.
of the world's mohair, almost 53%, something like that. But they also process about 83%
Really?
of the world's mohair. So even if you buy Italian mohair, it's coming from South Africa. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That you know all these things, but it's like you said, you're in the business.
Yeah,
of
I'm in the
crochet.
business. I love to learn. This time I learned more about merino from here and added a bit of knowledge to the mohair. But mohair South Africa, look them up. They do a beautiful job of telling the story of mohair.
Yes.
And likewise, Cape Wool's telling the story of merino.
For sure. That is true. I want to talk to you about, I love that you have all these colors, which is so beautiful. And I think South Africans are more traditional or maybe even scared to move out of comfort zones. When I knit or crochet, I throw things together and then people always tell me, but how it works. And then I'm like, you should not be scared to just
You have to
go
try
for
it. You have to try
Yes.
it. Yeah.
So
I had a workshop this morning.
Yes.
And the ladies were very excited. I think that they were anxious for some inspiration. And I had like 28. Yeah, it was a big class. And I showed them my samples. I told them my story. And then I took the yarn, like for instance, this, what do you do with it? Well, it makes this. My friend Samantha made the design for this.
That's beautiful.
And
It's
it's double
absolutely-
thick. Look, see, it's double thick.
Flash art cowl.
And so that's the braid of mohair and then a background color. You could pick black, it would be beautiful with black.
Yeah, can you
Or a
imagine?
white with black speckle.
Oh wow.
And
gorgeous.
all the product that I brought to South Africa here is custom made for me, like this kind of kit where there's 9 skeins in, and this makes this shawl that I have on.
Wow.
Fringelicious.
Oh yeah, we love our fringes.
Fringelicious.
It is gorgeous. Did you knit this yourself?
No, the ladies at Ba Wool in Reno, Nevada,
Yeah.
created it for me, and they made the kit specially for me. I look for people that are small companies that are looking to get bigger, expand, and I join efforts, and they do custom for me, and therefore I promote them. So that's Ba Wool.
Oh, I get you. There's
Yeah.
the one. Oh, that's amazing. But the colors are gorgeous.
Yeah.
I
so
love
that's
this
my
green.
And then I'm always about the bright, saturated. Look at the color of that one.
Oh wow.
And these two together.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So this is my friend Laura from Pearl Talk, and she is in Wisconsin.
Okay.
As we say, we make funny in Minnesota, we say Wisconsin. She's in Wisconsin, Madison, and she's now developing my own domestic USA line of yarn under the Stevenbe label.
Wow.
So that will be coming out this fall.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I'm excited.
And then I'm looking at this yarn.
Yeah, it's
You
my
know-
jewel. It's my jewel. You handle it like diamonds.
Okay, let me just softly touch it.
Here, let's untwist it.
Okay, because you know what? The textured yarn together with that mohair, right?
Right. So it's dyed at the same time. This one comes from
Really?
a dyer in Nova Scotia, Canada, and it's 1 skein of silk, crinkle, or boucle, and 1 skein of mohair. And whenever your mohair is together like this, watch, you snap it, and you fluff it back up. Look at it. And so I made this with it. And this is my friend Dawn's pattern. Dawn is a friend of the shop, and it's called Balsam Lake.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
So I use very thin yarns, but with bigger needles.
Oh,
Because
yes,
I like
the drape.
opaque, the drape, the
Yes.
fabric.
Oh,
And-
I'm like that too. I get so annoyed when people have this stiff fabric they create with knitting or crochet. And then
Everybody
like, girls, get loose, please.
Everybody's has a different opinion.
Yes,
And it's more
true.
of a
It's true.
it's more of a I don't know, someone stuck in history of knitting.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of, but they're more standard knitters, traditional. And so one time, this lady came and she had made a baby bunting, you know, with the bottom closed to put the baby in.
Yes.
And she said, what should I do with this? I need to soften it. And she sets it on the table and it stood up by itself like this.
No way.
That's how stiff it was.
Oh, wow.
So that was a funny experience.
I can imagine.
I'm like,
the poor baby.
I don't think anything is going to soften this, dear. Can you imagine it would hurt your hands to knit so tight?
No, it's horrible.
But everybody has their own gauge.
No,
I
for
just
sure.
happen to like loose.
That's for me.
You know?
That's my preferred way as well. I like loose drape and softness.
This is my favorite loose one.
Oh wow!
So I like
Look at the bling.
I love using chunky.
You are the yarny sprinkle
glitter knitter.
Glitter rocker.
Glitter knitter.
Glitter knitter.
So here's what this story I tell, because chunky yarn, someone looks at this and what do I do with it?
Yes.
And they think, well, if I get enough for a sweater, it's going to be so thick and so hot and it's going to make me look fat. And that's not how I look at it. I look at it as an ingredient in a recipe. So what else can I mix with it to make it come alive?
Yes.
And so this is what I do. I call it scribble knitting.
Scribble knitting.
Because the thick yarn looks like it's scribbled.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
And it's floating.
Oh, look at the tassel.
Oh, I have to have a tassel.
Oh, the tassel.
And then I wrap it around like a bandana.
Oh,
and see how it
gorgeous.
just collapses?
Yeah.
So it's not stiff.
No,
thick yarn
not at
doesn't
all.
have to be stiff and thick.
Yes.
And I can even see you through it. So
that is true.
it doesn't have to be stiff.
What would be your biggest tip that you would give to the viewers with regards to knitting?
Well, there's so many. I went through them all today in my 3-hour workshop that went so fast. I was like, what? It's over already?
Yeah, it's very quick.
Here's the thing. I believe that everyone that comes to these kind of things, events, my classes, my shop, is desiring to go further.
Yes.
And find a new experience. So don't contain yourself, and my number one is, don't have expectations. Because this is very serious. Ready?
Yeah, I'm putting on my very serious.
Expectations are unrealized resentments.
Oh yes.
It's deep.
Right.
It's deep.
But it's true.
Think, okay, I see the picture, I buy the yarn, and mine doesn't look like the picture. Then you get mad. You get mad at yourself,
Yes.
you get mad at the yarn, you get mad at the shopkeeper.
designer.
Yeah.
Everybody.
But it's because you have expectations.
Yes,
but let it become what it should be. And it doesn't have to look like the picture.
No.
It's also very true with your family, your husband, whoever. Expectations are unrealized. So you go home and he didn't clean. Well, he didn't vacuum because you expected him to.
Yeah.
He's doing something else. He's fixing the roof.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You didn't know about that expectation.
Yeah. So that's my biggest advice.
No, I love that advice, Stephen. That is a special one.
And it's just, it can transcend throughout your life in many facets.
Wow. What would you say is your biggest highlight of your yarny knitter glitter career?
Now it's probably 8 years ago. Stephen West and I collaborated, and we went on tour for 2.5 years around the United States. And it was very nice to have such a good knitting friend and two guys that are somewhat flamboyant and traveling. So we filmed a reality series. If you look at, yeah, you can see it on YouTube. Maybe you can look it up and find some links for people.
I'm going to definitely do that.
Yeah.
What do we need to call this series?
If you go Stevenbe.tv, you should find it.
Okay.
And we did a 1.5 years of filming and a lot of money. And Shurcan Productions, who films a show called Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Okay. It's a very popular show in the U.S. And it just goes to restaurants and rates the food. But anyway, they stopped doing that show and they did my show.
Wow.
And Stevenbe.tv. And we just went around the United States knitting in weird places. Like in Seattle, we went skydiving and knitting. And
That is amazing.
Montana, we went horseback riding and knitting. And in Tulsa, we went fishing and knitting.
No way.
Yeah, so it's just fun. You should. Oh, New York City, we had a film crew in Times Square, and we were all dressed up in fur coats, and everybody thought we were celebrities.
You are, right?
Well, on
In
the
the
D,
yarn,
on the
you-
D list.
On the
No, we should say on the K list, or on the CK.
on the knitting list.
Yeah.
Crochet knitting list. That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
I'm
It's
gonna watch
very
it.
humorous. It's very
I am
silly.
definitely going to watch that. That is amazing. So your future projects, big projects that
Well,
is coming?
After COVID, I was quiet, and then my mother passed last year,
I'm so sorry.
and she was my best friend, and she's why I knit. She's the reason.
Wow.
So I went into like 3 years of quiet, and this last summer I started blossoming again and traveling. I'll continue traveling through the United States. When I got home, I had 1 week off, and then I'm teaching in Alabama, which is way down by the Gulf of Mexico. And then I've got another one after that in Ohio and Chicago, and I'm all booked out.
Wow.
So I'll keep on the road.
That's amazing.
On the road with Stevenbe.
Stevenbe.
I should do my own show.
I think you should. Stephen,
Well, I
it's-
love talking.
Oh, I love it. I love that you love talking.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Yes.
for bringing the beautiful yarns and your beautiful projects and, you know, giving us some more insight into what we really need to be worrying about or not worrying about with our
Remember,
knitting or crocheting.
expectations are unrealized resentments, and
That-
resentments aren't healthy.
No, it isn't. No, it's definitely
In your
not.
knitting, in your home life, in your house, in your children.
Yeah, it's a life lesson that you can extend beyond knitting.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
your time.
Thanks for your
And I
time.
wish you all the best. Please
Okay.
travel back safely and
Oh,
come
yes.
visit us again.
No time to be wild, working and knitting all the time.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you.